Regardless, let's just say that's true. Well, then we have Texas v. White. Yes, right, Texas v. White. States can't leave the Union. He said it. Chief Justice Tate said states can't leave the Union. We got an indestructible Union made of indestructible states. But he qualified that, you see? Because in that decision, Texas v. White of 1869, Chief Justice Chase did say, well, if the other states want to boot a state out, they can do it. Now, why would he say that in 1869? Well, because in 1868, this is precisely what the Congress did to the South in the first Reconstruction Act. You see, in 1868, Congress passes the first Reconstruction Act. Remember, during the war, Abraham Lincoln said, well, the states aren't out of the Union. They're still in the Union. They're just in rebellion. So that means secession never happened. So that would mean that they're still states. So if they're still states, they have all the powers that states have under the Constitution. That's not going to work for the Republican Party, because that would mean these states could block their entire agenda. And if they're back in the Congress, and if they've got functioning states in the United States, they can do whatever they want. They could not ratify the 14th Amendment, for example. They could not ratify the 15th Amendment. They could not ratify the 13th Amendment. They could do anything they want. That's what Lincoln said in January of 1865. Hey, look, don't like that 13th Amendment thing? Just come back in and vote it down. It's gone. We just got the Union back together. That's what he told Alexander Stephens. So they could do any of these things that they wanted. States could go to Congress. They had now, black people, if they become citizens, are counted as a whole citizen towards representation, not just 3/5, and it gives the South even more power in this new government. But you've got these former Confederates in there. You got all this problem. So this is why they didn't want these states in the Union. They needed to ensure that they could control the policies of those states. They needed to keep them in subjugation. So what did they do? They passed the first Reconstruction Act. And they say, guess what, states? You're no longer states. You're now military districts subject to martial law. They divided them up into, again, military districts. And they made it to where they were no longer states. You go out and read an atlas. This is really funny. It's a funny exercise. Go out and look at an atlas. And go look at a state like Georgia and see when it says it became a state. It says it became a state when it ratified the Constitution. False, but it also says it became a state when it was readmitted to the Union as a state. Now, Lincoln said for 4 years, these states are not out of the Union. They're still states. The Congress says in 1868, you're no longer states. You're out of the Union.